Breaking news. It's possible that this is the last chance to fix Ukraine's biggest issue. The United States' involvement in the Ukrainian conflict has a serious flaw: the war is boring. For the average viewer at home, there is no clear sign that Captain America has come to the rescue. Today's audiences want to rally around a Marvel superhero, says Barbara Raffaelli, who spent over 40 years as an executive and field producer for ABC, Bloomberg, and CNN, bringing bloody conflicts like the Lebanese Civil War and the Balkan Wars to American television screens. U.S. audiences are growing impatient. They're eager for Ukraine to succeed. The Star-Spangled Man with a Plan has been stuck in a barracks for nearly 3 years now. When an American-supplied bomb explodes in a Russian ammo dump, the only thing the public sees is a lot of smoke. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky is the country's equivalent of a superhero. Even the cereal he eats, Zelenskios, is being marketed to Americans like he's a Marvel superhero. After his speech to the United Nations this week, he will travel to Washington to try to convince lawmakers to approve a $21 billion aid package. And Zelensky could use the publicity. The charisma of the actor-turned-warrior statesman is dwindling. You can count on this happening. When asked about the popularity of wars, Assistant Secretary of State and Special Assistant to President John F. Kennedy Arthur Schlesinger Jr. famously said, "All wars are popular for the first 30 days." For the past 2 years, Vivian Walt, a veteran foreign correspondent for Time and Fortune, has covered the conflict in Ukraine. "We're seeing a war that's the same thing over and over again," she says. "There is no longer a narrative arc to this war that can be followed by TV viewers or readers. It lacks interest because no news is better than old news. The war needs a new name, as any economist will tell you. If not, the law of diminishing marginal utility, which states that increased consumption of a good or service results in decreasing satisfaction per unit of money spent, might make Zelensky more compelling than Starbucks." War is a terrible thing. War in Ukraine is a consumer product, according to Anastasia Shapachkina, director of the Foreign Policy Institute Eastern Circles and lecturer on political economics at Sciences Po in Paris. Currently, about 55% of Americans believe that Congress should not increase funding to counter Vladimir Putin's belligerence. That's a major decline by economic standards. Back in February 2022, when hostilities broke out, similar polling showed as many as 62% of the public believed Congress should do more to aid Zelensky in his fight against Vladimir Putin. These polls bring us to the most dangerous moment in the war, a breaking point. Consumers must decide the true cost of living in a democracy, Shapachkina warns. If the United States stops providing support for Ukraine, fascist regimes around the world, including in the United States, will rise to power. This is the most dangerous scenario. Next year's election could see the return of former President Donald Trump to the White House, and he has shown no great love for defending Ukraine or for upholding democratic ideals. For example, he demanded the termination of all rules, regulations, and articles, even those found in the Constitution, in December of 2022. Countering Russia's threat to democracy must be left in the hands of America's elite political decision-makers, wise men and women who pay no attention to uninformed populist sentiment, says Shapachkina. That's a tough sell, and it should give the United States and its allies pause as they promote the largest and most complex conflict in Europe since World War II. The thing is, however, that Kyiv's constant public relations push and Moscow's slick propaganda counteroffensive, frequently aided by popular American television personalities, have desensitized the conventional attitudes of American consumers, as Awad,